Hello and welcome to week 1 of Statistics for Psychology, the class you've been waiting to take. So welcome, and a new format. This COVID thing has come along and it's forced us to do this stuff online. And I want to encourage you though, we have a small class. 4 or 5 students, not quite sure where we start tomorrow. I'm recording this on Sunday. We'll see what it looks like tomorrow, but we have a small class, and we're going to be meeting on regular times. And thought for this kind of first video, I'd talk about these first expectations, kind of getting us started on what to expect from me and how we're venturing into the class, and my confidence in your ability to get this material. So you're probably looking at this in Brightspace. So let's go to Brightspace and see what you're looking at. So here's our Brightspace classroom. Looks a little different because this video is not on there yet. And when you come into the classroom, you'll see the announcement section, and I want you to first check that out. You should be checking that out just about every day. And then ultimately, you're going to end up in this content area here, and that's where all the fun is happening. So we go there, and right off the bat, you see a little instructional video. Be mindful that once you start going into content, the next time you go into content, it's not going to put you at the top anymore. It's going to put you where you last were. So if you were in chapter 5 and you logged out, the next time you go in, it's going to bring you back to chapter 5. So it won't always look the same as you're going in. But for now, you're going to be coming into the overview here, a little welcome to the class message, some specific information about the class, where you find the textbook and course book. Very important information here. Stuff about student services and academic services here at KV, a little bio on me, and then finally down here at the bottom we have the course syllabus. Make sure that you review all that, goes over the kinds of assignments and stuff that we're going to be doing. I'm going to review a little bit of that now. And so for this first week, first of all, I know we're starting off a little weird because my understanding is the bookstore doesn't have our books yet. So don't worry about it. I'm in charge of this class. We still have stuff to do during week 1. We can make up the week 1 work. Don't fret about it. The most important thing for you to do is to be coming into class, going into Brightspace, figuring things out. I'm going to be looking at the next couple weeks and figuring out what to do with the bookstore and getting you started as much as we can. I might upload some data banks, or I'll figure it out. So back to Brightspace here. The next document here is the course timeline, and you click on that and you can look at the what we're going to be doing each week. And the stuff in red is the stuff that's graded work. This is not a light class in any way. There's work to be done, and this is practice. Learning statistics takes a long time. You won't get it all this semester, but you're certainly going to be introduced to it all. So the first thing I want you to really understand is what I call the trio of resources in this class. It's actually kind of a quartet, because there's a textbook, there's a lab manual, and those go together. There's the course book, which is the content and lesson plans and descriptions of all the assignments that I wrote. And then there's Brightspace. And you're going to be using all of those. You're going to be reading the textbook. You're going to be reading the course book. You're going to be doing the labs in the lab book and submitting those on Brightspace, submitting the discussions, quizzes, and labs into the Brightspace environment. So getting to know how to do that kind of thing is kind of the goal here. Now, the place to find those resources, first you have Brightspace already, but if you're in Brightspace, you go to course documents, and there's all kinds of information to read here about general course expectations, my policies, online etiquette, and all that. But right down here, textbook and course book information, you click on that, and there's information about the textbook and the lab manual, which we're still waiting for in the bookstore, I think. Maybe some of you got it. I'd like to hear, that'd be great if all of you, there's just a few of you, so maybe some leftover from last semester. That would be really cool. So if all of you have it, that's great. Great guns. I'd like to hear about that. And then we have the course book. This is the thing I wrote here. That's the cover. And right down here, there's blue links. There's a PDF version and there's an EPUB version. Now, the EPUB version is really made for tablets use, particularly iPads, so you can just swipe it and it has interactivity that's different from the PDF, but it's both. And you can download this, you keep it, you download it, it's yours, you can put it everywhere, and that's great. So that's kind of the things that you need to go get. Now, this particular first week is a combination of getting into statistics, but also the technology expectations that we have specific to the fact that we're doing this class in this virtual environment. And that is principally learning first about Zoom technology. So let's go to the course book itself. And I have it opened up here. And so this is right at the beginning about some stuff about the textbooks and whatnot. And Sage Edge, that's a link associated with the lab manual. You get all kinds of data banks and stuff like that from there, so that's great. But here's chapter 1, why statistics. If you've taken any courses at KVCC in social sciences and you've seen these course books, you know that you enter in and there's an attention getter section, some videos. These crash course statistics videos are really, really well done. They're fast paced. This lady knows her stuff. They're really fast-paced, but you can just rewind them and watch them over and over. And I have really learned a lot from her work. So in that attention area, and then we go into the learning outcomes, which you're going to be learning from this particular chapter, and then we go into the content here. This is my interpretations of stuff, and I want you to take a note that there's things in here that talk about class activities. Now I'm going to be talking about how we meet and what we're going to be doing during those times, and I'm still planning some of that out. Don't get too hung up on these class activities. We're going to be doing some of them when we meet together as a group in Zoom. I'm going to have you actually do some work and show your screen and doing some stuff like that. But I'm still working, and I'm going to be working with you as to what you feel most comfortable with. If you have your lab manual and you want to go ahead and do these, the more you practice, the better you will be. So do not skimp on this. This is a math class and you want to be able to practice this stuff over and over. So feel free to just charge ahead, do the best you can, prepare these things. These are not the ones I'm going to be collecting for your grades. So we make our way here through the content. You're reading this along with the textbook. And we come to the end section, the assessment section. And this is where there's an explanation of the different assignments in the class. And you see that there's a discussion where I want you to discuss examples of statistics you've encountered in everyday life. You don't need the textbook or the lab book to do this. You can talk about statistics that they show on the news. This is all that fake news stuff. You know, what is out there, and check it out. Is it real? Is it not real? Is it skewed? Does the graph look funny to make a small difference look like it's big? These are things that we talk about. The next is a quiz, and where I want you to give a real world example of a statistic that was valid but not necessarily reliable. And you'll have to learn a little bit about those terms from the textbook. Oh, but if you don't have the textbook, you can look those terms up on the web and that will be fine. And then the first lab, you see the chapter 1 lab assignment, is preparing the technology for this class. Now there's different pieces of technology here because we need Zoom because we're going to be meeting every Wednesday. I'm going to be holding a live, we're all going to be together 1:30 for at least 2 hours to connect, help with the homework. This is not necessarily the lecture time, but although I'm going to be doing some teaching about specific to the labs. I'm expecting you to do a lot of that learning on your own, but we'll be there to answer questions and whatnot. This is supposed to be interactive. That we don't have a lot of time together. We want to make that very valuable. So you have to come to that pretty prepared, having done some of those homeworks and, you know, really charged ahead, and you're ready to go into the labs later. So I want you to install Zoom on your devices, get that going, practice a little bit with that this week. And then we're going to be looking at some other technology. Now, the first one is going to be Excel. Now, Excel is a spreadsheet program that comes with Microsoft Office. You have free access to that as a KVCC student. I provide a link to that information to get that free access if you don't have it yet. It's also a very powerful statistical tool. So it's a good, it actually does a lot of the stuff. It does it a little differently than the other tool that we're going to use, but nonetheless, it's a great tool, and there's going to be some expectation to do the same thing. We'll do it in Excel, and then we'll do it in this other piece of software. Now, that other piece of software comes bundled with your textbook. In fact, your textbook is going to come bundled with the book for statistics, the lab book for statistics, the book for methods, which is next semester, and the lab book for methods, which is next semester, and SPSS software, a statistical package for social sciences. It is the de facto professional level statistical tool, and you're going to be learning how to use that. Don't let it intimidate you. It's actually a pretty simple program to use. There's no programming, there's stuff, and the logic is kind of built in there. There's a lot of stuff in there that is way beyond an intro class, but we're going to dip our feet in that nice lake and learning how to use that software. And I'm going to tell you, that's going to be a heck of a resume builder for you to put that you have some experience with SPSS. Working with SPSS in an undergraduate level is pretty rare. So that's kind of a treat, as challenging as that can be. So I want you to ensure that you have Excel and that you can install that SPSS onto your computer, onto your laptop. And so you'll have that available to you. And what we're going to be doing is using these tools for you to demonstrate your learning. So we're going to be looking to answer psychological research questions with numbers. And so I'll be asking you to crunch some numbers. I might ask you to do them in Excel. I might ask you to do them in SPSS, and we're going to be able to share our screen, and you can show me what you did, and I can say, oh, okay, this is great, or maybe you have to make this adjustment or something, and we can help each other work our way through the complexities of these two statistical tools, and then kind of get away from that technical aspect and really have deep discussions about what do these numbers mean? What conclusions can we draw from this set of numbers that we've produced, so that we can authoritatively say, I've discovered something in psychology, so the theories and the models that we have that explain human behavior have some weight to them. So this first week, there's a discussion, there's a quiz, and then there's this technological prep expectation. So that's what we're doing this week. I'm going to be in the discussion boards. I want you to go into the questions. I want you to introduce yourself in the lounge, post a picture of yourself, do all that stuff, and let's start the dialogue of getting you started into this class. And don't worry if you don't have. I would like to hear if you have the textbook. Please post that in the lounge. And say in part of your introduction, I've got the textbook, I'm ready to go. And we'll sort of quickly assess where we are with that and what I need to do in terms of getting material out to people for this first week until the bookstore can catch up if we need to. So I look forward to seeing you this week, and I'll be posting one of these little videos in the announcements section every week to start off, and possibly posting some other videos of content and explaining things. Got a lot of work to do. So that's my work. Your work is to get into this stuff, approach with confidence. I've taught this once before. I think we can do this. So I look forward to seeing you folks this week. Take care.